Jeff Carroll, Sci-fi Express Lane. I need to start doing these in the afternoon now that this time change hit. But we're going to do it. I got something to talk about. Jeff Carroll, science fiction writer, comic book creator, and filmmaker, okay? Just got to lay that out because it's interesting to wear different hats, and not everybody really talks about it. I could just say writer, but I want you to know that I really do comic books. Got a Kickstarter running out right now. I am a filmmaker. Filmmaking comes it's a long preparation and then it's out. So it's not like you're doing film every day. And then writing books. I've been doing short stories for a long, pretty much since quarantine. I haven't really written a full novel in a while. It's just really time, headspace and time, but Kickstarter has really been consuming me. Today's topic is different venues, different angles, right? Different audiences. One of the main thing, any type of artist, whether you have gatekeepers or you're totally independent in whatever it is you're doing, consumers become a major factor. I'm not gonna lie, I just want to write whatever I want to write. I want to do whatever I do. Yeah, if you got money like that, you're not really worried about your audience. Audience is important, and audiences, creep up on you in the sense that, how I learned my audience. I went to I learned my audiences, right? I went to everywhere I could to sell my books. I was just at a black book fair in Tampa maybe 3 weeks ago, and I was next to another urban book author who does erotica, right? He does erotica, it's best to say that. And we were talking, hadn't seen each other since probably the last time we both did that same book fair. And it was in Junction, right? Because he doesn't do the comic book events. He doesn't do, I've done gun shows, I've done anime, right? I do gamer events. I do a lot of different things. He said he's done biker shows, right? Real hardcore biker shows, black biker shows. He's done HBCU football games, and I think I can sell there, right? And I think, but that is a saying, and a lot of artists or vendors or creators don't know that, right? They don't know that. And I didn't know that for a while, even though I might have been saying it, is how will I sell there? To think of that question is a very important thing to do, because you like to think your audience is everywhere, right? You like to think your audience is everywhere. Yes, you like, Marvel, a million people going to Marvel movies. Wherever there are people, there's a Marvel fan. I sell comic books. You will like my comic book if you like Marvel movies. That's a broad pitch, yo. That's a broad pitch. When I narrow my books down, right? My books are black, right? They have people of color. And although Marvel has some diversity, right? Marvel isn't 100%, is not as black as my stories are, right? Then I have stories about young adults in it. I have stories with Sword and Soul, right? I have paranormal. I have horror. I have post-apocalypse. I have space. That's a broad palette. And then my movies Gold Digger Killer is urban fiction, right? So when I first started doing, my first book was a novelization of Gold Digger Killer, which at some point I need to get the book back out. But I've been waiting to do it hardcover. But yeah. So with all of those different genres, subgenres of science fiction, come different audiences, right? And then the venues where I go are all different. You have sporting event like a classic, a football classic. I did the football classic one time in Orlando, and it's so crazy. I'd never done the classic that comes to Miami. I've gone to the Essence Music Festival to sell books. I've gone to the Tampa Jazz Festival, right, to sell books. And I lay my spread out, right? Each one of those venues are different because the people are going for different reasons. And that is one thing, right? That's the maybe there's a way to separate all this, but I don't know. I'm just going to ramble. And but when you have the venues have different agendas, right? You're going for a sporting event, you're going for a musical event. People are not going to buy books. So the cool thing about the Essence is it's like a music conference, but it also is an empowerment conference. So they have branded themselves to have black businesses, almost like a black expo. It was really celebrating women, and it still does that, but it seems like it's also for men. And that's important. And they have a book section, and you know it, but at the end of the day, you're still looking at female readers. So when you are going to sell your products there, make sure you have them marketed, make sure your pitch speaks to those women that are coming there and stuff that they may be interested in. I mean, there's a multi-variety of ways people can be interested in the same thing, but you gotta have to know that whatever the audience is, that's your lead-in pitch. And then, like when I go to gun fairs, I'm showcasing different books. My marketing, even at my table, can start to adapt to the different venues, and then there's people always say, how do you find your target audience? Well, sometimes, you have to put flares out for your target audience to see you. Just because you sell comic books and you're going to a comic book convention, you put up at the table your name, Jeff Carroll. That doesn't mean anything to people that don't know you, that hasn't read your book. I think one of the best, most influential booths, I have not really been able to duplicate it because when I tried it, it didn't really look that well. But was a guy I saw at, I don't know the name of it. It was an Atlanta book fair. Went on the same time as Dragon Con. And I took a train out from Dragon Con and went to this book fair. And this guy had 4 plaques. He had a tent, and he had big plaques. His little table was squeezed in between these 4 plaques. 2 at the top, 2 at the bottom. He had post-apocalypse. He had space. He had horror. And he had, I don't know, another one. Vampires and werewolves. I have no idea. But he had 4 plaques, right? I took a picture of his booth, so I would not forget. I don't know where the picture is now. But I went back and started branding my table. And I made plaques, Afrofuturism, cyber funk, sword and soul, horror, robots, like post-apocalypse. So now every area of my table is separated by genre. Very similar to what you see when you go to a bookstore, right? You'll see, science fiction, urban romance, horror. You'll break it up a little bit like that, And I said, let me do that. I even break up, not necessarily my comic books, but I have the subgenre of all the comic books there. I also say books, comics, movies. So people in my physical advertisement as well as my electronic advertisement. And I think that's a beautiful way to put out flares to people that might like it. Now, I would love to have a banner really up high that has all of those things on it, so that way no matter where you are in the convention center, you can see my products, and people can come out. So those are another thing. But really just adapting to just really knowing the venue or the event that you're going to, and what those buyers are going there expecting to see. Even if it's a comic book venue, you write certain types of comic books. I write or right now, man, sure, of course I can write anything, but what type of comic books do I have? Sometimes my inventory dictates what how I market myself, and sometimes it's tight because I don't know which book will outsell the next book, but I quickly study and see where the trends is going. Especially if it's a multi-day event, I'll make some tweaks to my table. By the second day, my pitch is already tuning in to what the people are interested in. And I mean, I'll give you this is the hard sell people, right? Let's get the hard sell people. These are the people that I got a book to sell. You're gonna like this, and they talk you into every sale that they get. And I don't do that, right? However, I do different types of sale pitches depending on the audience. So some audiences you can hard sell, or let's say this, certain audiences your regular sales pitch is a hard sell. Certain audiences your regular sales pitch is a regular sales pitch. Sometimes, I think, with black people, it's different. In mainstream rooms, coming from a black person, it's different, and you have to read that out. You have to read out your audience and find out how they're responding to you, what they're responding to that you say, and kind of bring that in, because you can hard sell people away from you. One of the wild things that people love to post is, a black person selling comic books, and a black person walking by them saying, "Oh, I don't want to hear what you have to say," or I don't want your comic books, or I don't know. They have posts that say all types of wild things about mocking the black people that don't come to your table, right? And it is offensive. It is offensive when a black person walks by another black person. But there's ways to tweak that to sometimes get those people to your table, right? And that is to be honest. Let them know that, hey, I know you're a black person, but let me show you that I got something that you still might like. Sometimes just calling that out, I use that all the time. And while some people walk away, right, there's a lot of those people that may stop, especially if you see a black person with a white person. That's an interesting dynamic. Sometimes I don't know what to say. If it's a black girl with a white guy, sometimes I'll make a pitch or call the attention to the white person with the black person. And then that brings them in, There's the agenda people, right? And these people are at every event, whether it's a comic book event, anime, book fair, damn near gun show. These are the people with an agenda. They know what they want to get. And you're interrupting them if you want to talk to them about something else. They don't even have a lot of time. And you got to go fast. And you kind of got to let them know that you're going to go fast from the moment you say hello, because they don't have time, So those types of pitches. So anyway, just wanted to talk a little bit about different show venues and tweaking your marketing and some of the things that I do when I'm selling different books, different audiences, different venues. All right, touch base with you later. Like, subscribe, share, and comment.